So I chose SUNY Poly originally because when I was looking at a bunch of different SUNY schools, there was a lot of mechanical engineering stuff, but SUNY Poly specifically had a lot of hands-on um, like laboratories and things like that. And besides just mechanical engineering, they also had mechanical engineering technology. And when I compared the two and I saw that you can take SolidWorks, CAM, so you can work on like 5-axis CNC machines and laser cutters and the abrasive water jet and things like that. That was like my big, uh, I want to go here. And then we also had Baja and a racquetball room, which is kind of rare, I feel like, for a lot of SUNY schools to have. So we just had a lot of facilities that were really, really good. So for me, I transferred from Morrisville. So I did a 2-year program there, and a lot of it was hands-on. And I learned that I was a very, very good hands-on learner compared to just dealing with textbooks and things like that. So when I learned that mechanical engineering technology had a lot more hands-on applications to it, so like working in this lab that we're currently in, working in the lab that's over there, as well as like 3D printing and taking a lot of like modeling and software courses, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. My favorite class would have to be, it'd be a mix of 2 classes. So it'll be statics and strength of materials and finite element applications. Both of them are with Professor Holzhauer. He is probably one of my favorite, if not my favorite professor that I've like ever had. He's super, super interesting, has a 35 years of experience working as an engineer. So when it comes to like asking for advice, whether it be applying to companies or just learning like the basics of statics and stuff like that, he's really, really good at explaining and detailing the processes of stuff and what you would end up doing in the real world. So when you get into like a real job and stuff like that, you actually feel a lot more prepared because of the way he preps you in his courses. So those are probably my favorite 2 courses. So the main activity that I'm involved in is I'm a lab coordinator. So when I transferred here, a friend of mine that also transferred at the same time, he was a lab coordinator here, and I kind of came into one of the labs and I saw that he was working here and I wanted to know what he was doing. So I asked him and he told me that he was working as a lab coordinator in the machine tools lab. And I was like, whoa, I didn't know you could work here. And he was like, yeah. He was like, so you can apply and all that stuff. So I kind of applied. And then after that, I met John Knight. And then I kind of just kept it going from there. And I learned pretty much all the machines that are in the machine tool labs. And that was like a really, really big experience for me. One, because it's a really good resume builder. So you have all those experience working on tools, as well as just gaining hands-on experience and doing other stuff outside of being in your room in your dorm. My best experience would definitely be, I would say, just working in the labs in general, because you meet so many different types of students. You meet a whole bunch of different types of professors. You get to work on so many different kinds of projects, and there's never really like a dull moment when you're working in the labs. There's always something to do, whether facilities need something built. John wants you to sketch up or draw like a fixture for something, or just fixing the tools in general. So that's probably my best experience, is working in the labs is probably like my favorite thing to do. I think the best part about being in the community, at least for me, because I'm a MET student, so it would definitely be, there's a lot of people that have the same mindset as you in terms of like learning as much as they possibly can and being able to network themselves to go into different companies and things like that, being able to learn as much as possible, being able to explain and teach other students as well. So like if I was struggling in a class, there's a lot of students out there that study and they work in groups and things like that, and we're able to come together and figure things out, or go to a professor and they'll kind of help us out together. So I think a lot of students are here for the right reasons, and I think that's the biggest part about being in the community, at least in the engineering aspect of it, is everybody's kind of here for the same goal, same purpose. So when it comes to getting stuff done, it's pretty good. Yes, so last year was my very first internship. I did an internship with Cree over the summer, I was working in the Albany campus actually, and I got to see a lot of like the nano side of SUNY Poly in Albany, and that was a really good experience because I got involved in the semiconductor industry, and originally that wasn't like, I guess you could say, in my plan, but it kind of all just worked out, and I learned pretty much a whole bunch of information that I never knew because I never even really knew about the semiconductor industry like that. It wasn't something that I had like research prior and things like that. I'm learning how COVID affected the semiconductor industry and kind of accelerated it in a way. So learning that and being able to just, the engineers there at Cree are, they're phenomenal. There's a lot of them are just, the best way to describe it, they're just geniuses, a lot of them. So when you're working there, being able to pick a whole bunch of different engineers' brains that have years and years of experience and are like more than willing to teach you everything that they know and tips and tricks and stuff like that is super amazing. And they end up offering me a full-time position. So it all kind of just worked out together really well. So my specific capstone is with James McBurney, as well as Dion Tuaden. She works in the measuring lab. And what we're creating is a IP67 proof bicycle-like housing case. So it's the case itself, an O-ring seal that we had to design, as well as a cap to screw on and fit all the components in one, as well as the clamp that would clamp onto like the back of the bicycle. And then we would do some other tests because it has an accelerometer, microcontroller, and a couple other like electrical components. And essentially what it's supposed to do is as you decelerate and you're hitting the brakes on your bike, it's supposed to flash like brighter so that it can, warn incoming traffic a lot better. And since it's O-rings, they're pretty big, the LEDs. So they're probably about maybe this big is like a small one, and the other one is maybe about this big. And they're all programmable. So you can change the colors that they emit, you can change the brightness, you can change how much they flash, and a whole bunch of different types of custom stuff. I would say for advice for any incoming student in general is get involved and ask tons of questions, because there's no such thing as like a bad question. And getting involved in campus will help you a lot because you'll realize how many resources you actually have available to you versus just coming and going through classes, staying in your dorm and things like that. You can do that, but I highly recommend getting involved and talking to professors, other students, clubs and things like that, because you want to network yourself, so to be as versatile as possible. So when you graduate from here, you have a big facet of knowledge and experience.